Hello, sellers. It's Kathy, and I love to be selling. Today I have three. I'll put up 3 people. Well, it's actually my thumb. So we'll do three, three top sellers on eBay that you can source all over the United States and around the world. And I'm actually going to throw some bonuses in. So come on in, sellers. Come on in. I'm so excited to be with you. And it is June. And it is 2024. And I figure as we head into summer, what I hear a lot of sellers talking about is, oh, Kathy, hey, Vicki, good to see you. It gets slow in the summer. I know it's going to get slow in the summer. Okay, stop. Stop right there. Which is listen to what you're saying. Listen to what you're saying. Also, be careful who you're hanging out with. Listen to what they're saying. Listen to what they're selling. Yes, definitely listen to what people are selling because you get great ideas. But listen to what you're saying. I'm anticipating a slowdown. Oh, it's always slow. It always gets slow in the summer. It's going to get slow in the summer. Really? Do you know that for some people, the summer is their busiest time? Just like in the spring, I know some sellers that are incredibly busy in the spring tends to be home and garden sellers, in case you want to know. Other sellers, summer is their hottest time, right? For somebody else, it's the fall. For a lot of sellers, it's fourth quarter. But I know some sellers, because of what they're selling, fourth quarter is not their best season. So first of all, stop. If you've always had a slow summer, we can talk about that. And I'm going to give you 3 things that sell really well in the summer so you can get busy and turn that around if you want. You may enjoy a slight slowdown in summer. I was talking with one of my friends, Chrissy, and she does a lot of family activities in the summer. So she's fine with slightly slower eBay sales because with that time, what she's doing is it's more family time because the kids, or it could be your grandkids, it could be your nieces and your nephews. My friend Sherry enjoys time with her nieces and her nephews. Is everybody's got a different lifestyle. And that's the great thing about selling on eBay. I was just in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So hello to my Florida seller friends. And you know what? Everything is different for different sellers. I was speaking with some sellers and they source like crazy in the summer because it's yard sale time. So it might be a little slower on sales, but it is their sourcing season because there's so many yard sales and they find that's not true in the winter. So they stock up. So again, everything has its season and you got to look at what works for you. You've sold maybe 15 items in the last 10 days. Good for you to have so many nice sales, Vicki. Congratulations. So 3 things that are really selling on eBay right now. And again, we're talking June 2024. Okay. So what can help with this is to look at what eBay is emphasizing. eBay, if you don't know this, eBay makes money when we make money, right? So unless we're selling, eBay's not selling, right? Because for eBay to get sales, the sellers have to get sales. So you take a look at what is eBay emphasizing? What do they talk about a lot? And eBay just had an online seller check-in, the summer seller check-in. And the seller that was their showcase seller, Dalton, who's a sweetheart. I've been with him, a presenter with him in events before, absolute sweetheart. He's also in Florida. I didn't get to see him when I was down recently. He's in Orlando. And he's a big sneakerhead, right? And I know a lot of the sellers, when Dalton came on, they're going, oh, here we go with sneakers again. But wait a minute. Okay. So this is what I did. I went, okay, eBay keeps talking about sneakers. Like, here we go again with the sneakers. And he actually gave some really good tips. So that was good to listen to. But I went, wait a minute. Okay, eBay. Here we have this really nice kid in talking Dalton. I think he's selling 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, something like that. Very, very, very nice. Lots of tips. Very successful on TikTok. Go and check him out. Also, he's on Instagram. He talked a lot about sneakers, photographing sneakers, selling sneakers. He started when he was in high school and has continued to grow and scale his sneakers. So I went, wait a minute. If eBay keeps talking about sneakers, why do they keep talking about sneakers? And if you guys don't know, from the yellow cabs behind me, I'm based in Manhattan. So I was out today dropping off my mail and I was looking at people's shoes. Okay. I like to look around when I'm in the city and look at like, what are they wearing? What styles are they wearing? What colors are they wearing? I'll look at people's handbags. What brands are people wearing? What designers? I'll look at backpacks. I look at hats. And I encourage you when you're out and about, look at what people are wearing. What are they carrying? If you're in malls, what stores are they going to? Because you'll learn a lot that way. And so I'm looking at people's shoes. And again, this time of year, some people are in sandals, but there's an awful lot of people in sneakers. And I just recently flew a round trip to Florida. And let me tell you again, in the airport, looking at what people are wearing. And again, I'm checking out what luggage are they carrying. What brands are they carrying? Are they shopping, in the stores in the airport? But also, what are they wearing on their feet? And there was an awful lot of sneakers. And this is all ages, the kids, the toddlers, the teens, the college, the grown-ups, and grown-ups of all ages are in sneakers. And again, and so we're noticing, a lot of sneakers. Then start looking at brands, because there's going to be brands that you're familiar with, perhaps Nike, perhaps Nike, perhaps Adidas, but look at other brands of sneakers that people have on their feet. Like I like Skechers. I wear a lot of Skechers. Is look at what they're wearing. I actually will take pictures with my phone to look, because then I'll go, when I'm seated, especially like when I'm traveling, I'll start looking up the brand, because it may not be a brand that I'm familiar with. And I don't know what it sells for because it's not a brand that I'm familiar with. And then I check. So I'm seeing a lot of sneakers. I'm seeing Dalton talk about sneakers. So this is a top thing. Sneakers are a huge category on eBay. But this is my tip for you as far as sourcing sneakers, selling sneakers. 1, go through your own personal sneakers. I just did this. Hubby and I just went through and we purged our personal collections of sneakers because we have a tendency to, you sort of end up with more than you necessarily need. Or ones that you're not wearing, you wore them a few times and it was like, what, this just isn't me. There's something wrong with them. I'm just not really into wearing them, and sold them on eBay. Okay. So go through your own personal sneakers and sell them on eBay. Why? Because it's hot. When you are out sourcing, again, besides all the big brands, and this is why keep an eye out for what styles people are wearing, very important. And what colors people are wearing. So in New York, lots of white, lots of white. So all white sneakers of all different kinds of brands, but also the very vibrant multicolored sneakers are extremely popular, all ages too. So I'm looking at really bright, cheerful, multicolored sneakers, and I'm looking for white sneakers are super, super popular. If you are outsourcing sneakers, I know this might seem really obvious, but if you don't sell a lot of shoes, it may not be so obvious to you. Flip them over and look at the soles. The wear on the soles is crucial. Also, when you're pricing, because when you're checking soles, yes, it's the brand, yes, it's the size, yes, it's the color, but it's also the wear on the foot of the shoe is going to be really, really important. And be sure to open the shoe up and really look at the inside and really take a look at the wear inside the shoe. A lot of times, if you look at the tongue, that's going to help you because if there's a lot of wear there, typically there's going to be a lot of wear inside. But the condition of the inside of the shoe, because it also lets you know like how much it might be broken down as far as any kind of cushion in the shoe. And the sole is going to be crucial. All different kinds of brands sell. And this is actually a tip for you on sneakers. I do love this. I'm talking about sneakers. This is a tip for you. And I got this from actually 2 big sneaker sellers that were with me for the DC Fly-In this year, which is the eBay Seller Advocacy Day, which is done by the Government Relations Team. Yay, Government Relations Team in Washington, DC. And I had 2 really good conversations with sneaker sellers while I was there. I was like, I'm going to start to learn about this category because eBay keeps bringing it up. So it's like, okay. It must be selling if they keep bringing it up. And then I have these 2 huge sneaker sellers at the Fly-In. So I'm like, okay, great. I'm learning. And it was really interesting because the one had, made some good money selling some very high-end sneakers. Just like handbags, there's all different kinds of strata within sneakers. And what he said, which I thought was really interesting, he said, Kathy, I still, I'll sell some of the high-end sneakers. He said, but I'm finding I'm making much better money sticking to more middle of the line. So like $50 to $100 in that range, rather than going for the really high end, because it sells faster. There's less competition because there tends to be a lot of competition going for the higher end stuff. sourcing it, listing it, competing against each other. And he just finds the sell-through rate, and your sell-through rate is how fast something sells, is much better for the middle line, which makes sense because for a lot of people where their budget is, you know, it's like around 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 in there for sneakers. And so it's going to move faster. It's going to move faster. So he said actually what he was doing was he was de-emphasizing sort of the snazzier, more eye-catchy, but super expensive sneakers. And I didn't ask him. My suspicion is also because it might be costing more to source those depending on where he's sourcing. And I think he sources a lot at outlets, but he also does thrift stores and things. And so focusing more on the middle line. And I heard that from a luxury seller. So first tip is sneakers, and don't go, oh, Kathy, sneakers, is one, go through your closets because most of us wear sneakers. Also for friends and family because they might be purging their personal collection, check for wear. But also when you're out sourcing. And again, everybody knows the Nike and Adidas. And that's why I encourage you when you're out and about, really, it's going to look a little weird, but start looking at people's shoes and notice what brands they are wearing. Because if they're wearing them, they are buying them. And then hop on eBay and find out what price line is this brand, right? Is this a brand that you've ever heard? I've been seeing brands I've never heard of because I haven't really been paying attention to sneakers. I've been paying attention to other things. So look at what people are wearing, look up the prices. And my super sneaker seller, because I'm going, if this guy is this super sneaker seller and he's saying more of the medium price, it makes sense. You know, money's a little tighter. You know, maybe people used to spend this higher dollar amount. They're coming down a little bit just because they're trying to make their dollar stretch a little further, and look for more the medium priced items. So that's number one, sneakers. Look in your own closets, friends and family, and look for the medium prices and look at what people are wearing just to help educate you on brands. Okay. So you start to look at search also when you're out at thrift stores, also retail stores. Don't forget Macy's, right? Don't forget TJ Maxx, that you'll start to go, oh, I saw that brand. Like 3 people were wearing them, you know, that, which lets me know, oh, these people are wearing them. Let me check out this brand. And then you go on eBay and see if it sells. Okay. So sneakers is number one, medium. Number two, same thing, handbags. But again, and this was my luxury handbag friend, said very similar things to my sneaker friend. Got a little bit of a throat thing going on. I think it's just sinuses. She said same thing. So she sells a ton of luxury handbags, excuse me. And what she said, Kathy, oh, wow. Sorry. What she said, same thing. She said the middle line. So she used to sell tons and tons of luxury, and she still is. But she says she's really also focusing on the middle line, the under $100. So like the $50 to $100 range, because again, it sells faster. It sells faster. So a lot of times when you're looking at YouTubes or looking at podcasts, we all love our fellow sellers. You know, there's that what they call the Holy Grail. You know, you're looking for that $1,000 handbag or that $1,000 pair of shoes. But what's selling is the middle line. What's selling is the middle line. So yes, be looking for your Holy Grail because they're fun when you find them. But really educate yourself on the middle line. And that's why it's super helpful. Look at what brands people are wearing when you're out and about, you know, in the supermarket, at the drugstore, here in Manhattan. I mean, we walk everywhere. But just take a look at what people are wearing. This can help too with social media because people are putting up pictures. They've got family reunions going on. They're seeing their friends. And look at the style of handbags, the brand of handbags people are wearing. Also the backpacks. I don't know about you, but every time I travel, everybody's in backpacks. I mean, executives have backpacks. The flight attendants have backpacks. The pilots, everybody has backpacks. All ages. Also, it seems like, and I always love it when little guys, right? You got like your 7 and 8 year olds, and their backpacks are practically bigger than they are. But really, 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 really keep an eye out on bags. But again, middle line, middle line. Holy Grail, yes. Middle line, middle line, middle line. Now, my next tip for you, and this is one I actually learned. I actually saw it first here in New York, and then I was just reminded of it online. So let me find this for you. And if you're unfamiliar with this, is streetwear, which is sort of connected to sneakers and everything. Hang on a second. Let me just show you this. Where is it? Where is it? Here we go. Is a massive category. And you may not be familiar with it, or you might think, oh, I'll never find any streetwear where I live. So they had a streetwear pop up here in New York City last year on Canal Street, which was really interested. And I went and I met with some of the top streetwear sellers. Absolutely fascinating. I mean, this was streetwear that was eBay authenticity guarantee. So it was like $500, $1,000, $1,500. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous stuff. But the interesting thing about looking at streetwear, and you can do this for any of the categories that are authenticity guarantee. So like fine jewelry is authenticity guarantee, watches are fine or authenticity guarantee, high-end handbags. But the reason I'm bringing up streetwear is you may not be aware of everything that is in streetwear. Like you go, oh, streetwear. Like it may not mean anything to you. A lot of these shirts and hoodies, you may be coming across some of these brands when you are out at thrift stores, consignment shops, even yard sales, church sales. You might be coming across this and not realizing it because it is not brands that you are familiar with. I was actually reminded about this, about educating ourselves. And so many sellers that I just think are wonderful sellers and that I love to talk to. I was down in Fort Lauderdale. A dear friend was just in from California who's a big ephemera seller. And while she was here, she went to an exhibit at the New York Public Library, which was all about illustrated books and New York history books through the years. I mean, all different things about different vintage books and various things that she was looking at in prints. And I was like, well, why are you, I said, oh, that's so great. It sounds like a really interesting exhibit. And she says she loves to go to exhibits about books, anything about paper, because she sells a lot of paper. And she says it educates her eye. So she sees like what the paper looks like from the 1820s, 1830s, what the style's like, what the printing is like in that book. So then when she's out and about, like at estate sales, it educates her eye. So she's recognizing styles and fonts and bindings, which I thought was so interesting. And this is a woman that has sold in this category easily over 10 or 15 years. And then I was listening to Dalton, who was talking about sneakers, and he's a newer seller, but he's a very experienced sneaker seller. And he talked about how he goes on major websites and he looks at how they photograph their sneakers and how they describe their sneakers. And he uses that information to write better sneaker listings on eBay. And I went, here's a younger seller, but like my friend from California who's been at it for quite a while, but he's educating himself to be better within his category. And then I started thinking about streetwear, which sells for big balloons, is a huge category on eBay. They now have authenticity guarantee on this. And you might be walking by this, not even realizing it. Why? Because you don't recognize it as something to pay attention to. So this is why I want to call this out. So I'm going to pick this brand because I've actually seen this in the stores, and I've seen it in thrift stores here in New York, is how do I start to recognize this is, okay, first of all, because there is streetwear. So look at it on eBay. It's an authenticity guarantee category. Look at the brands. They show you some of the big brands in streetwear. Supreme is one of them. And the thing with Supreme, and again, Supreme, I can remember that. That's like an easy thing. I can put this on my be on the lookout list or my BOLO list, right? And then look at it. And the reason you're looking at this, see here, these all say authenticity guarantee, which means it's going to go through authenticity guarantee. The reason you're looking at this, we're going to click in on this shirt. And we're going to flip through the seller's pictures, is look at this label. And this is why when it's going through authenticity guarantee, this is true for sneakers. This is true for handbags. This is true for jewelry, like are the light bulbs going off? Look at the labels. It is very, very, yes, you want to look at the brand. Okay, now I know Supreme. But start to flip through as you have time on eBay. And look at the Supreme shirts, and there's some other great brands, and look at the labels so that you recognize them. Lululemon. I don't know about you because I sell some Lululemon. I can recognize a Lululemon logo at 500 paces. And if you don't know, it's a big brand for women's athletic outfits, like for Pilates and yoga leggings and shirts and shorts, all kinds of stuff is Lululemon. But man, I know that logo at 1,000 paces because it is money, 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 right? Supreme. This is, look at this, $300 for a soccer jersey. Okay. So keep an eye out for this. This is a good one. So those are my top 3 for you, which is sneakers. And don't go, oh, Kathy, sneakers, all kinds. And I encourage you to look at the middle of the line. Start with pruning your personal collection, also friends and family. But really keep an eye out when you're out and about what people are wearing, and then look at it on eBay. So you start to learn other brands besides the one that are the big brands and the ones you're most familiar with. Because more likely there'll be less competition on that. You might be able to grab some when you're out and about at a thrift store or yard sale, because it's not a Nike and it's not an Adidas, and yet it's a really good selling brand. Same thing with handbags. Look at the middle of the line. Look at the styles. Look at the colors. Get familiar. And if it's in the Authenticity Guarantee program, really look at the logos. Look at what's there. Look at the branding on the metal and everything so that you can recognize it on the zipper pulls, on the sneakers. Look at what the Authenticity Guarantee, what does it look like? And streetwear is great because it's clothing. Look at the brand labels. Look at the big names. What do the labels look like? That way, when you're out and about, you will absolutely recognize it, because this sells year round, and that's what you're after. You want things that are going to be hot, hot, hot for the summer, but you also want the things that are going to be selling for you year round. The great thing about things in the summer is there are things that sell right now. There are things that are on Target right now. Sneakers happen to be one of them. Handbags sell year round. Handbags are great, and streetwear sells year round. But there are trends in those categories for the summer, and there's things that really trend in the summer, that are popular in the summer, that might be sitting in that money or death pile, that might be in your closet, that might be in your cabinet, and you don't use it, and you can list it on eBay and make some great money. And I've got top 10 tips to ignite your eBay summer sales on my website, ilovetobeselling.com. It's free. Just hop over there and grab it and use it. It's a PDF. You print it out, you take a look at it, you pop it in your bag. It will help you with what you have on hand. It will help you with sourcing. Most importantly, it helps you to get sales right now in June, and then July, and then in August. So your eBay sales will stay strong, strong, strong all summer long. Okay, great. Let me know which is your favorite tip. I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling. Bye-bye, everybody.